The garden rescue team are on a mission.
Look at that!
To create beautiful green spaces in family homes.
What do you think? I think that's super cool.
And make people's garden dreams come true.
Fab!
Charlie Dimmock
Pushes the boundaries out.
the much-loved queen of the family garden.
What can go wrong?
The Rich Brothers,
Good luck, boyo.
creators of classy, trend-setting outdoor spaces.
It's such a nice pop of colour, isn't it?
And Arit Anderson,
That's brilliant!
an award-winning designer with a distinctive sense of style.
A lot of these plants are quite easy to maintain.
They're here to answer garden emergencies
There is a lot to be done.
based on the client's needs and budget.
So I think it's definitely challenging.
2 sets of plans.
Wow.
Designers create and pitch, but only one can win.
Right.
Garden
Shazza!
and the loser has to help them build it.
Oh, look at that!
This is what happens when 2 different styles collide
What's not to love?
to turn garden dreams into reality.
Oh, Charlie, I love you!
That's a bit better, isn't it?
Today, Charlie's up against the Rich Brother to design a family courtyard garden to enjoy from inside as well as outside.
This is Nick and Dinah, and they're from Manchester.
Just over a year now we've lived here. We've bought it as a renovation. We've been knocking walls down and fixing it up. But obviously this bit of garden is a bit of a challenge.
This is their garden. At the moment, it's just very boring.
So what
A massive concrete slab.
is this? I mean, it's a bit odd, isn't it?
It's very plain.
Let this bit.
So that is a marble feature.
At the moment the garden is kind of a bit like a marble graveyard. Yeah, it's me. There's no... There's not really any other way of describing it.
It belongs to a person who had a
Memorials business. I think that's why there's so much marble everywhere, and that's a strong feature in the garden, and it's not really one that we want to keep much of at all.
Dinah and Nick do have a well-maintained garden round the side of their house. But this eyesore space is what they look out on every day.
At the moment, they look down on just this massive concrete. So I think that's a really big focus for them, is to green this up, to create a lovely spectacle from the balcony, but also from within the garden.
Our daughters, we've got the idea of being able to just downstairs bedroom, which is ours, and upstairs, wake up in the morning, sit up in our bed and look out onto a beautiful courtyard garden instead of a minging one. It really appeals.
They love the idea of having a more cottagey, wild, naturalistic touch in the garden.
So wonderful.
Lots of flowers, lots of romance.
So what's the budget?
So the budget is £3,000. So it's easy, there's so much hard landscaping here. I feel like they've got that bit covered. Perhaps it's about creating those pockets.
Selectively pulling something out.
And then hoping there's not huge
concrete
footings
underneath.
To see how £3,000 can be used to transform a minging concrete garden into a beautiful cottage courtyard, Charlie and the Rich Brothers head to Manchester.
Hello, we've arrived.
Beautiful.
It's nice. It's all very...
Wow.
very pretty. We can't be doing this bit, shall we?
No.
It looks lovely. No, it didn't look like this in the pictures.
Oh, wow. That's it, isn't it?
That's strange, isn't it?
That feels very garden-like. This one feels...
This feels very funereal.
Yeah, well said. I mean, that obviously just, you know...
Yeah, that's the one sort of eyesore bit. It's a bit strange.
It just sets the wrong kind of tone, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lots of paving.
Yes.
It is just a wonderful thing to be surrounded by the house. It's completely private, isn't it? It's wonderful, really.
Not overlooked.
Pretty blank, very uninspiring.
Yeah.
Should we hope to find something inside?
Hopefully. Which door did we go in?
Yeah,
Where would you
take
guess?
your pick. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I feel like that one. Just because.
That one.
I love it.
It's wonderful, isn't it? What beautiful space.
I like it because, you know, it's open plan, but there's so much going on.
But it is the idea about making sure that it's got that accessibility
Front garden's gorgeous.
and the freedom to wander
Yes, it
It's a bit of
is.
an oasis.
around.
It is. And there's something about this bit of the garden, it feels quite cosy. It's very private, isn't it?
Well, we thought it'd be really nice to be our private space
Yeah.
because we do some hospitality.
So this bit of the garden is going to be for...
Yes.
Very much for us, for family.
Yeah, for family.
And also hopefully a bit useful, kitchen-y.
Oh,
Some
okay.
fruit and veg would be nice.
Throughout the space, we've got beige, we've got greys, mauves. It's a soft colour tones as well, isn't
I
it?
think that at the moment there's so much paving out there. That's all you see.
It's going to be a bit of a feat to take up all of that slabbing.
Yeah.
If we maybe replace part of it with a different material that stands out, I think that would do a lot for that area, won't it?
Yeah.
So what sort of feel do you like in a garden? Do you want it modern and sleek, or...
I think we might disagree here. This could be a challenge. Because I'm
thinking?
Well, I am thinking
English country.
in the same lines as English country.
Right. And Nick, you're...
Sort of not too, what you call twish, but
Okay, not too oldie-worldy.
Oldie.
Yeah.
Modern country courtyard.
Yeah, so there's something where it's peaceful.
Do you want a pond or a water feature?
Well, we've got a pond on the other side, but a little sound of water can be nice, can't it?
It's going to definitely just be for you two, or...?
It's not just for us, obviously, for family. We've got a little granddaughter who loves to ride her little trike round and push a pram and...
Access we need to think about.
Definitely.
Well, nice little toy house there. Board there for drawing.
Ah,
The whiteboard.
do you reckon this is the room for the granddaughter?
Devoted just for her.
There's a tiny chair and desk there.
It might be for me.
She's obviously very important, so then we need to provide something out in the garden for her.
Is there anything you'd really, really hate?
I don't like the part...
Been set fire to?
That was me. Country.
You don't... I was going to ask...
It was this little...
ask about that. It looks like it's,
weed burner that I bought.
Wow!
And nearly set fire to the whole house, and it was quite a frightening moment. So I don't really want to be reminded of that, to be honest.
We're saying accessible for everybody.
Yes.
Repurposing things.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be lovely.
But not too much marble, though.
Not, okay, maybe the odd bit.
Yes, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And vegetables and fruit.
That would be lovely. Yeah.
Well, a pleasant surprise.
Yeah? I don't know. I'm a bit intrigued, really.
Yeah.
Having shared all this new information from the visit, the designers head back to their drawing boards. The brief: to create an English country courtyard garden for all the family. Each of them will come up with a plan for Nick and Dinah, their favourite. Works within their budget. The losing designer will have to help, and the couple will then choose their winner, build the garden. The £3,000 budget will be spent on materials, while Charlie and the Witch Brothers, along with a team of landscapers, provide the labour for free. Back in Manchester, it's time for the pitches.
Okay. So this is our design. It's going to have a cottage character, but through the simplicity of the design, it'll feel quite clean and modern. It's a courtyard. You've got so many views out. Whenever you wander through the house and you catch a glimpse of the garden, you should be looking at something beautiful.
That is a big step down, isn't it? Yeah. I can see why you want a new step outside the patio door. I have gone for a cottage garden that revolves around a big farmhouse family table, and there's lots of views so that each window or
Both designs have remembered that the
doorway has a view.
garden needs to work as a place to look fun to, as well as a place to sit in. But what about the details?
So this area here is going to be brick, and that's going to define that gorgeous route out from your bedroom and also out from that small living room there, and characterise this dining area right in the centre of the garden.
Really, this whole garden is kind of designed around this area. So you've got, it's like the hub of the garden. You know, the fact that you've got so many doorways, it allows us to really create this central zone. That becomes an area where you can sit down, enjoy, make some memories, and relax in.
The Rich brothers have used brick to lead the family out into a central communal dining area. What's Charlie's opening gambit?
So this bit here, I've given you your own little tiny private patio area, and we've got this trellis with windows in, and you'll wander around to the more of the fan or piece of marble, lease space. So this with some bench seats, farmhouse tables made out of your... We have a rose arch here, and then the view from out there is down to your marble pillar with a pot on it, or a figure, or something like that.
Charlie's got a central table too, but she's also carved out a private patio and kept some marble. But have the Rich brothers.
So the one thing that's obviously very different is we've removed the marble feature. So that has completely gone. Happy about that, I reckon. By removing that, the whole garden has opened up now, and you've got this whole circuit, the whole route around the space. And then throughout the garden, we've got these hedges.
They all help to give structure.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like one big open space. Instead, it's allowing you to wander through and around.
Yeah.
The hedging makes this seating area feel very cosy.
This is vegetable beds. Part of the garden over there. Put some new herbs in them, veggie, want to introduce some rays, some soft fruits, things like that. And it'll just be a lovely addition to a modern cottage garden.
So, the brothers have ditched the marble for structural hedges, but they've also created an area for veg. So, does Charlie have a plan for produce?
Here you look down this avenue, and it's like a pergola, but it's for vegetables and fruit to grow over. So it sort of creates a view down there, which also makes picking very easy. So these are raised vegetable beds either side of this archway that runs down to the back of the garden.
The couple also wanted the sound of water. How have the designers taken this on board?
So we love the idea of positioning a water feature here, which is in the centre of the garden. It's right next to the seating area. It's going to create a lovely...
This is the wildlife area.
Kind of tranquility and a nice...
Lots for the bird.
Calming atmosphere.
And the birds and bees and butterflies. So planted up, raised bed with a little puddle of water for the birds to wash in, and it'll be a gentle bubble, a fountain in there, a solar-powered one. So it'll bubble away very gently, and then down there is a little mud kitchen for your granddaughter.
So far, the designs are feeling very different. But will they take a similar approach on planting?
The planting, we want to have very soft colours, so like soft purples, maybe whites, pinks. Definitely a cottage theme running through it. It'd be nice to have that as a standalone feature tree, something like the cherry or something, which is very ornamental. And then maybe you could have 2 apple trees or a pear tree.
Yeah, not so high, so I can reach them.
Yeah.
These are fruit trees, dwarf ones, so that you don't lose any of the sun. It won't make it too shade, peas and clematis. So using lots of cotton to go up on all these different plants like roses and sweet vertical spaces.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
With the pitches over, Dinah and Nick now have a tricky decision to make.
Should we have a little look at Charlie's first? I really like this walk through here with the fruit and the vegetables growing over you. I think that would just be really lovely.
What did you do? Cottagey?
Yes, cottagey, raised veg beds, but I've also got this like pergola that the vegetables grow up, so you get like this arch. Yeah, like that.
Oh, you go through and just go.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Nice.
veg.
Yep, we've got 3 raised beds down
3?
there. Yeah.
Ooh, I've only got 2 veg beds.
Now, this is something I hadn't thought of at all, having been screened off a little bit,
Right,
giving
okay.
us a bit of privacy
Well, that-
from our room.
Private courtyard garden there.
It's a nice seating area there.
That's quite
Beautiful.
good.
We've got a nice little cherry tree or some
I've created their own little
kind of blossom tree here, which is a little statement. So when they look out that window there,
That tree should be beautiful because it gets so hot in that courtyard.
Yeah.
It can be too sunny,
Yeah, it's
so
not
that'll give a bit of dapple shade. So, decision time.
decisions.
Which of these country courtyard gardens will the couple plump for? It's time to find out.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my.
Gosh, so this has been really difficult. We did actually agree, which we weren't expecting. I thought it could be, you know, we'd need counselling afterwards. But we have both chosen Rich Brothers.
nice.
Nice. Wonderful, guys. What was it about the garden that you liked?
It was nice to have the idea of a screen. I wanted to be able to
It's just drinking in the space straight
see right across, even though
away that visual impact. We love the feature of
the brick.
the
Yeah.
It's a great win for the Rich Brothers, but they'll need Charlie working alongside them to create a romantic country courtyard garden.
A lovely sunny day in Manchester.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's not raining.
It's the start of the build and landscaper Andy is at the head of the queue to get stuck in, followed by son Sam, project manager Paul, Lee and Steve.
This looks like the Rich Brothers.
It's the Rich Brothers, and the idea is it's going to be a lovely romantic courtyard garden. So we've got a lot of clearing out to do. All this lovely marble, that's got to go. A water feature to go in. So I think Charlie's going to get involved with that somewhere on the lines.
Department.
Yeah, she'll make that look beautiful.
She will.
And keep this in the garden. Romantic feel that we've got going on between. There's going to be some raised beds over between us. Sorry, not between us. I mean here.
Yeah,
So there'll be a bit of veg growing. So that's your job, mate. There's a bit of marble behind me on the floor, so we're going to use that as a tabletop. So we've got plenty to do, haven't we?
So is Lee going to get on with the timber work? And me and Sam will get on with Nick and Dinah's romantic garden?
And I'm going to have a glass of wine with Steve.
Oh, that
in a
sounds about
romantic
right.
corner.
Have a look at this.
There'll be no wine for a while though, there's a huge amount to do.
1, 2. Yeah, that's it.
Starting with clearing the old marble, including this large slab. The brothers have plans for it, so it's set aside carefully for later. But lifting the marble reveals a surprise, an old water feature.
God, it's like something out of Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom.
Before this hidden water feature can be tackled, the team has to drain it by hand.
Pond liner. Okay, we'll hopefully let a bit more water. Just breaking the bottom of this trout, but we're almost there now.
And also, it's a good way of recycling these slabs because we need to fill this hole in, which is actually quite a big hole. So we're going to chuck these in the bottom, and then that'll be a job done.
Looks like it's falling before.
Oh, well, don't tell me that. It is, yeah. Yeah, it's going to take
Well,
quite a
have you hit
bit.
a water, mate?
Hopefully I've not hit a water, mate. Don't tell me that. Nothing's bubbling up yet.
While the majority of the ugly concrete paving's being removed, Andy's found another resourceful use for some of it.
Because we've got a level change in this road, we're going to have to build a step here. So these were the old cappings on the old patio. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sink them in upright, block pave to the bottom there, block pave to the top there, and that'll create a nice little step and just recycling the old slabs. I think it'll look really great.
The woodwork tools out and start. Meanwhile, to build the 3 raised veg beds, Lee's finally able to get his trust Harry and David promised the family. They're going into the left-hand side of the garden, opposite the brick courtyard patio and communal seating area.
The brothers have asked me to get a modern product for this courtyard feel with a sort of oldie-worldy look. So these are ideal. They're made out of concrete, but they've got a dye in so it looks like old brick. Andy's going to lay them in like a brick bond way, so they look like old-style paving. So I think they'll work really, really well.
With only $3,000 to spend on the garden, these retro-style bricks really hit the spot, costing around £500. Once the bricks are laid, the gaps are filled with sand and the whole thing is compressed to lock them into place. And as the brick courtyard patio takes shape, everything's on schedule. They are on their way. But the weather has taken great news as the designer taken a turn for the worst.
Yeah, we've all got smiles on our faces
I
today.
don't know why.
You look like you've done a day's work in a swimming pool. So today is all about giving Nick and Dinah a very romantic, calm, English-style courtyard.
Not the weather for that English courtyard anyway. So.
Exactly, and it's geared around produce as well, not only for Dinah, but also for the granddaughter as well.
So we have some nice raised veg beds. You, Charlie, are going to be very busy today. So the water feature, that's something that you're going to take control of.
Right.
This is a beautiful kind of nice old tank.
Do you want me to, like, wire brush it down, get it nice and sparkly? OK, so water feature, well, I think I can cope with that. That's it then. Good.
No, and then it'd be nice to think about something for their grandchild as well.
Dinah was really keen for her to not only plant and that, but wildlife and get dirty and all that side of things.
Right on it already, you see.
Well,
Let's get you
so
doing
you're
that.
doing nothing then? Dress for it?
Yeah, you're dressed for the water.
You're just pointing today.
Feature circle. Let's go.
Oh, look at those things. Well, they're nice.
So the gardens are gorgeous already, such a transformation. It's so nice to have some different materials in here other than the concrete slabs. Now in this area, it's defined by the 3 raised planting beds. And this will be a perfect place for Dinah and her granddaughter to be outside learning about produce.
Well, straight away you can see that by adding these brick sets in, it helps to connect all the doors. It makes a central hub piece here where there's going to be seating, there's going to be plants.
We've started to isolate pockets where we can have gorgeous romantic planting, and also we'll have a few fruit trees and multi-stem trees as well. Right, better get on.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, it's nice here. Still raining.
No, it's going to come out though.
It doesn't say English
not
cottage
yeah.
romantic, does it?
I'm glad you're backing us up.
Australian.
A nice multi-stem cherry or even an apple tree.
What,
with the chart, especially with the chart in there, so that would be
the water
beautiful.
bark,
yeah. We're going to put
just going.
It'll be here to help retain.
Pretty much exactly here.
Okay, so it's cut. Oh,
yeah. It's your first job is to take it down.
I did not. I did not.
Charlie gets to work tidying up the area around the water feature in the far left-hand corner of the garden. The rest of the team finish off the brick paving for the English country courtyard patio. Whilst the brothers lend a hand with the veg beds to the left of the garden.
So for the veg beds, we're using this gorgeous timber. Now it's actually oak, which is a fantastic material to use out in the garden. Now you may think that it can be a lot more expensive than soft wood, but actually it doesn't have to be. Now this length here, which is about 3.5 metres, came in about £20. And for softwood, something like this would be maybe about £15. So there isn't a dramatic, and obviously with oak, it's hard, it's dense, it's different. But you do get a dramatic, it's going to be a lot longer life with the quality of the timber lasting.
Back in the far corner of the garden, and Charlie's hard at work.
Just doing a little bit of selective pruning. What you've got to remember when you're cutting branches off, if it's a really big branch, like that one that I just chopped off that was there, cut it about that far from where you want to actually cut it, so you take all the weight off and then cut back the stuff. So there's a big cherry laurel, but there's a nice yucca here, and also, look at this, a lovely fascia.
Oh,
my space.
You've got space in here for all of us, haven't you now?
No, it's nice, this bit.
Wow.
It's made it really open, hasn't it, actually?
Yeah.
So what do you want?
Water. And then a feature around it.
Yeah, but do you want a spray?
No.
Because the pump comes, let me show you.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yes. Comes with all sorts. You get to choose.
Like Christmas.
These days, pumps are great because they come with all the... Yeah, so you can have fittings.
Oh, yeah, we get to choose.
A spray.
Oh, I'm going to say no to the first option.
And just throw it away, like.
Option number 2. How many options do I have in total?
Bell jet. All right.
Bell jet potential. Is there another option?
Yeah, bubble.
Bubble. Yeah. Lucky number 3, please.
That's about it. Well, I'm going to be finished in a minute. It looks like you've got quite a lot to do. I'm glad to see your brothers using the tools as they're meant to be.
It's on hammer mode. That's what happens when he's on his own, isn't he? I gotta go and help him tonight.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the rest of the team continue the long process of removing the troublesome concrete and shifting out the heavy marble.
Baby, work person coming through. Come on. Have you not finished those raised beds yet?
They're coming along.
Because I need you to dig that out. I'm just trying to work out how big a root ball I want you to leave on there.
Whilst Harry finishes the raised bed,
Come on, beep, beep, beep.
David and Paul set to work,
Beep, beep.
taking out the cordyline australis or cabbage palm that Dinah's not keen on.
There's a man on a mission.
Farmer. Stop me now. Do you want me to have a go at this guy?
Yeah, be with me. Get quite close in it and take it.
No, I reckon it's got a tap root. Cordyline australis. Australis meaning from Australia, where it's bone dry. So the root goes down, down, down. Oh yeah, it's just about to come out, that.
It's making it's making a big difference. We can always tie it to the back of the truck.
It's so well rooted, David and Paul tag team in and out.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Oh, he's an animal.
Look at him go. Yeah, see, look.
And Harry gets involved.
That's it.
Something's going. Oh, it's looking better.
Something's moving.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit of movement there. I'm it.
Oh! Oh, yes. Yes! Easy, Harry. Steady. It's all right, actually. Let's take it out more cool. Woo! Oh, he's an animal.
It's a bit of a cushion.
It's fantastic. It is. Right, so that means I can get the water feature in then. It's not walk like an Egyptian, Harry. It walk like a geisha girl.
Oh, yeah.
I'll walk like a penguin.
You walk like a penguin.
The gnarled galvanised tank set the Rich brothers back £150.
Perfect. There we are.
And to transform it into a water feature, Charlie's installing a pump.
Very simple. It's just going to be for the sound. Bubble of water. You'll get reflections. But we'll just have a little treatment in it, which keeps it clear. But being raised, all right if it's done like this. It's great for granddaughter put their hands in as well for children because they sensory play with it, make boats to go on the top. It's high enough that she can't get into it, and when she gets a bit older, it's very easy just to put a mesh over the top. So that looks to me as if it's just the right height. Basically, the pipe has got to be just below the water surface, and then it'll go bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. Bubbly, bubbly, bubbly.
Meanwhile, Harry's turning his attention to another key feature.
And I've got this wonderful piece of marble, and it's going to make a really nice tabletop. It's already here, it's already been made for me. It's tough, it's resilient, it's smooth. It's going to be perfect. I've got to make the legs, which I'm quite looking forward to, and then it's got a perfect spot right in the garden, nice and cosy, somewhere for them to sit down.
Harry mixes carpentry. Start on the table legs, and Lee, Dinah and Nick were keen to have a see, and Charlie are also busy with a spot of space in the garden for their granddaughter Shiloh. And Charlie's come up with a novel idea.
So this is great. This little crate is what the pavias came in, the brick pavias. And it is amazing what you can do with a pallet or a crate. So what I really want to do is sort of make it sort of quite sensory and tactile. So we're going to have a bit of a mud kitchen, but also an area that the granddaughter can explore wildlife. So if we've got the bird feeders up here, different types of bird feeders. We've got lots of things I have to pretty it up. This is going to be so elaborate. You're going to love it, Lee. Can't wait.
Materials for Charlie's recycled pallet mud kitchen cost around £60.
A few more plants. So I thought, thinking sensory, sunnier. And then I've got herbs. And I've got ferns. Herbs in the top, because it'll be in the bottom, and primroses, because they'll put up with that. And I couldn't resist this little viola, little smiley faces. Everything's very, very wet.
But at least the rain means there'll be plenty of mud for Charlie's mud kitchen.
Oh my goodness, it slides in like that, does it?
Yeah.
Let me help you there. I want to be part of this, it's so good. Oh! There it is, snug.
Snug as a bug in the rug.
Wow.
And she's adorning it with everything, including the kitchen sink.
It's making me very jealous that I didn't have one when I was a kid.
Right then.
It's a dreamy thing.
Whilst Charlie further jazzes up her mud kitchen, Harry's central table is taking shape. Cost £35. The timber legs and supports for the marble top.
Well, the table legs are coming on really well, and I'm actually using 3x3-inch tannalised timber, so it's going to be great for outside. But really, the timber's going to be quite substantial because that marble top is nice and heavy. I've got 2 A-frame legs here, and I've got some bearers in between just to keep it nice and rigid.
The team are ready to start planting. First up, a beautiful feature apple tree.
Well, that is gorgeous. Yes, gents. One. There's no more apples on the tree, but it looks good. Nice.
Beauty.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It will sit next to the table at the centre of the garden. Apple trees are one of the easiest fruit trees to grow. An ideal position is a sunny, sheltered spot.
Apple trees are very romantic for your garden. Think about the romantic. They do conjure up that old English rootstock because there's dwarfish garden. And when you're picking a rootstock, they're semi-dwarf, and then you go all the way up then to large 5-metre plus apple trees. But apple trees are great also for produce. Now this is a cooker, so not only is it going to look beautiful, but it's actually going to be functional in the garden.
I can see a birdie eyeing up the feeders already. It is amazing how quickly birds, especially blackbirds and robins, are aware there's something going on in their garden. So this area here, the mud kitchen, is for Dinah's granddaughter Shiloh, but what I also wanted was not just a mud kitchen, so we've got that down there, but I thought it'd be really good to make it into a bird feeding area. So we've just got these fun little bird feeders for seed, and we can put these mealworms down on the top because things like robins actually prefer to pick their food up.
There's water for the wildlife
from a surface rather than a feed.
And for Shiloh to play with. As well as food.
We've got this little watering can and we just rigged up some guttering so that she can come along and she can just pour it down and it runs down.
Charlie pops in the herbs and flowers to complete Shiloh's mud kitchen. The structural planting in the garden is in full swing, and Charlie lends a hand.
Now, Harry was talking about making sure that you get the right size apple tree for your garden. Now, if space is really tight, then you want to go for one of these. This is known as a patio apple tree that's been fan trained. So being a patio apple, it means it's really, really dwarfed. It actually isn't going to get much bigger than it is now. Because it's been fan trained, it's flat. So it's going to go flat against the fence. And of course, being on the fence quickly, it's also more protected. So the
end of each raised bed, the rich
fruit will ripen much more.
Hatch Brothers have included a spot of produce. Not only have they planted this extra apple tree, but they've also got a dwarf cherry, a small raspberry and gooseberry bushes. With the produce and structural planting under control, it's time to bring in the flowers. The Rich Brothers have splashed around £600 on a range of classic English country garden style blooms.
Well, the planting's nearly finished. There's a ribbon of grasses that run through that knit it together. There's also the odd rose, which creates that romance and that English character we were looking for. But the colour scheme is quite muted. We've got whites and soft pinks. We also like the idea of putting it in a couple of plants which will really catch your eye. Here we've got the leopard lily. It's actually part of the iris family. And what I love about it is that it's quite dainty, it's quite airy. It sits quite high with a really small flower. It really contrasts against the Persicaria.
Yeah! Oh, we're singing all day.
And the Astranthia.
Dancing. Yeah? That's exactly the one I didn't want. Is it? And you know. You wind up.
Oh.
Yeah, come on, what else is there? What are the other ones I threw away?
The bell.
That's perfect, Charlie. Don't bother putting anything on.
Oh, yeah,
love that one.
Love it. Yeah, let's do that. That's awesome. Look at this. I take it all back. If you put your head in there as well.
That is interactive. That's the dream.
Oh, that's the coolest one ever.
You're going to put it in the middle, though, or not?
Frivolity over. The heavy marble table takes pride of place on the brick patio.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That is a nice tabletop.
Oh, fantastic.
And with that, this garden is finished.
I've got to say that I was working with an absolutely beautiful bit of marble.
Yeah.
Great job, H. Look at that. Makes the table look good straight away.
It does, doesn't it? It looks wonderful.
What do you think, Charlie? What did you think?
It looks fantastic, and I'm loving this courtyard area.
I tell you what, I don't think it's going to be Nick or it's going to be Dinah that's going to be the happiest person in this garden. It's going to be their granddaughter.
Do you think?
Because that is the best thing I've ever seen.
Are you in the mud kitchen, which is getting very, very muddy at the moment because that person that's on the hose is making a right mess of my Belfast.
You've been very protective of that area today, haven't you?
When the team arrived, this garden was an uninspiring mass of marble and ugly concrete. After a £3,000 makeover, it's been utterly transformed into a modern English country courtyard for all the family to enjoy. Packed with produce, there's 3 large area with a large bespoke large veg beds, a marble-topped table, a stunning brick patio, a tranquil water feature, and an eclectic mud kitchen to attract the birds. Not to mention a wash of country courtyard garden blooms. Time to show Dinah and Nick their new garden.
So, open your eyes.
Oh my word.
Oh, wow.
Oh gosh.
That is
It's
gorgeous.
wow, yeah, in a way. It's actually it looks beautiful.
It's really, really lovely.
What do you think of the brick?
It's really perfect.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
And yeah, I wanted it to feel warm and welcoming, not sort of cold and modern.
Dinah and Nick love it. It's a really tranquil space.
There was so much marble that we couldn't bring ourselves to get rid of all of it.
Okay.
When you have such a glorious piece of marble like this,
Yeah.
you have to use it. You can't throw it. You don't get much nicer.
Yeah.
Something that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And quite jealous you've got your bedroom. As far as the tabletop goes, I think on the weekend, how nice have those doors open. You're going to get in the spring. It's such beautiful blossom here. It's going to just transform this.
It
whole
might be chilly,
space.
but you're gonna do it.
We'll sit in bed, breakfast in bed, looking
Yeah.
out onto this. I mean, how lovely. And I'm loving the flowers.
There was no life at all, so this was brought to life.
We've got a little leopard lily at the back there, a little orange one.
Oh, yeah.
Which is my favourite in the garden.
Oh.
It's only small, but most of the time small things are beautiful.
Most of the time, yeah.
Nick was really keen to have a calm garden. So all the colours is basically lots of greens and whites with the odd pop of colour.
Oh my word.
Oh, wow.
Charlie's created a beautiful wall feature here, and we went for that dome shape, which will be really interactive. It's a wonderful
fingering.
thing. Yeah,
You just want to, don't you?
I'm super busy today creating her own little.
at-
I did it straight away. Yeah. It's more mud kitchen
That is
Fun the new thing.
and then Charlie's been
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, so there's loads going on. So the idea is the birds will hop down, run along here, and they'll pop down and they'll be able to eat food from their apples or their oranges. And then here as well.
Yeah.
So you can just dip it in, fill it up, so you guys can fill it up from here.
Okay, and it goes into the
Look at that, yeah.
the Belfast sink.
Exactly, that's it. It runs
brilliant.
down. You've got a little bird bath down there. But obviously, Shiloh can just do that from that level. I mean, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Well, we were going to build a mud kitchen.
So you've saved us a job.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then, of course, a key part of the garden was produce. It's not
Okay.
quite the right season to be putting in
Yeah,
veggies.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, of course, it's given you the space now where you guys can, I guess, get growing, really. We've got some soft fruits in there. We've got some raspberries and some gooseberries.
Brisk,
That'd
yeah.
be great.
Which is cool. That's the fruiting cherry. And then we've got a patio apple there, which
It's everything and more that we asked for.
I believe is red Windsor.
Thank you.
So do you guys feel like it's
It's absolutely gorgeous. It's
the garden's provided everything that you wanted from it?
oh, everything and more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
The couple are thrilled and waste no time showing the garden off to granddaughter Shiloh and family and friends.
Hey guys.
Hello.
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 Shiloh, there's a little mud kitchen. Through there.
Maybe you might spot it.
Hey guys. Hello. Hey.
Wow. Oh, look at you.
Oh, look.
What's that over
What's
there?
this, Shiloh? What's this?
Oh my word. Was it beautiful?
I have to say, it is a very romantic. Everything going for it here, hasn't it? It's got garden, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got colour. And it's got this warmth. It's just inviting. You want to spend time here. It's beautiful and playful for Shiloh. It's lovely. It's just gorgeous. I always used to hate breakfast in bed, didn't I? But I think I'm going to get used to it now because with a view like this, it's just going to be lovely.